Being just one phone call away from giving up on your dream, that was Raphinha at 18, rejected, overlooked, and ready to quit football forever. But one conversation with his mother changed everything.
Raphinha! Oh, can you believe that? Can you believe?
And today he's taken his game to a new level. He could even be on the path to winning the Ballon d'Or. So what exactly did his mother say? And why is Raphinha thriving under Hansi Flick? Well, let's talk about that. Have you ever had one of those moments where you just feel like giving up? Like no matter how hard you try, life keeps throwing L's at you. Well, that was Raphinha at 18. The dude had been rejected so many times he probably lost count. Internacional? Nope. Grêmio? Nah. Every trial ended the same way. He's too small, he's too weak, he's got no power. Clubs looked at him and thought, yeah, this guy's not built for football. And after all those rejections, he finally cracked. He was training with Avaí's under-20s team, but guess what? He wasn't even making the matchday squad, not even a spot on the bench. To make it worse, when he got injured and recovered, they straight up told him to train alone. No team sessions, nothing, just vibes and disappointment. At that point, he'd had enough. He called his parents and told them he was done. He was packing it up, heading home, no more chasing the football dream. And his parents? They understood. His dad was fine with it, his mum too. But then she hit him with the real talk. If you give up on football, you'll need to get a normal job. And that's when it hit him. He never finished school. He had no backup plan.
Já precisei parar pessoas na rua para pedir uma ajuda, alguma coisa, lanche, alguma coisa para comer.
He'd have to work in a supermarket, a barbershop, or something like that. And he knew exactly what that life was like because his mum and dad had done it all. Hairdresser, waitress, receptionist, selling perfumes, you name it. She worked a million jobs before finally saving enough money to do what she loved. She wasn't going to let him throw his dream away that easily. She told him that every tough moment passed and that maybe, just maybe, he had forgotten what he wanted in life. And you know what? She was right. By the time they hung up, something clicked in Raphinha's head. He remembered why he started in the first place. He wasn't going to let some coach's opinion decide his future. That phone call, it changed everything, and just 2 years later, he was playing in Europe. Crazy how life works, right? That phone call was the wake-up call Raphinha needed. He didn't quit, he didn't pack his bags and head home. Instead, he doubled down, he kept grinding, and guess what? It finally paid off. Avaí gave him a shot with the first team, and man did he take it. He went from training alone to catching the eye of European scouts. And just like that, at 19 he was on a plane to Portugal, signing for Victor de Guimaraes. 2 years earlier, he was on the verge of quitting football. By 21, he was playing in Europe. That's a glow-up if I've ever seen one. But let's be real, moving to Europe as a young Brazilian isn't a fairy tale. New country, new football culture, no family, no friends, just you and the game. A lot of players struggle with that transition, but Raphinha, he thrived and moved to Sporting. He balled out at Sporting, then took his talents to Stade Rennais in France, and that's when people started paying attention. His dribbling, his flair, his ridiculous left foot, he was cooking defenders for fun. And that's when a certain former Barcelona player, Deco, came knocking. Yeah, that Deco. The one who played with Ronaldinho and Messi. He saw something special in Raphinha and told Leeds United to sign him. Leeds in the Premier League? Now that was a test. The most physical league in the world, where defenders don't just tackle, they try to send you back to Brazil. But Raphinha, he didn't just survive, he thrived. His skill, his work rate, his ability to turn a game on its head, it all made him a fan favourite, and before long, Barcelona came calling. From nearly quitting football to becoming one of the most exciting wingers in Europe, Raphinha had arrived, but his biggest dream, that was just about to come true. From Leeds to Barcelona, sounds like a dream, right? Well, for Raphinha, it was. But let me tell you, dreams don't always come easy. When Barca splashed out £50 million to sign him in 2022, fans were hyped. This was the guy who tore up the Premier League, and now he was going to light up La Liga. But before he could even put on a shirt with his name on it, there were registration issues. Classic Barca, right? Financial struggles meant they had to shuffle players around to make this transfer official. Not exactly the smoothest of starts. And on the pitch, it was just as tough. His debut was a frustrating 0-0 draw against Rayo Vallecano. Probably not what he had imagined for his first game at the Camp Nou. A few weeks later though, he got his moment, scoring his first Barca goal in a 3-0 win over Sevilla. It felt like the beginning of something special. But then came the Champions League, the big stage, the moment every Barcelona player dreams of, and a brutal 2-0 loss to Bayern Munich. That match pretty much summed up his first season. Flashes of brilliance, but a lot of frustration. See, Raphinha wasn't just fighting to prove himself in La Liga, he was battling for his spot in the team. Xavi had him and Ousmane Dembele competing for the right wing position, and with Dembele rediscovering his form, Raphinha found himself in and out of the starting 11. In one game he'd be the main man, the next he'd be on the bench. That kind of inconsistency, it messes with a player's confidence. But when Dembele got injured in early 2023, Raphinha finally had his chance. And while he had some standout moments, like a goal and an assist against Manchester United in the Europa League, he still couldn't fully convince everyone. Sure, Barca won La Liga, and Raphinha played a role, but there was always this feeling that he had more to give. And then came the 2023-24 season. Injuries, a dip in form, and then out of nowhere, a 16-year-old wonder kid named Lamine Yamal took his spot. Raphinha went from being the £50 million signing to being on the backup. Ouch. But Xavi wasn't ready to give up on him just yet. Instead of leaving him stuck on the bench, he tried something new, moving Raphinha to the left wing. And suddenly we started seeing glimpses of the player who first made Europe take notice at Rennes. Moving inside, using his creativity, looking way more comfortable than he had before. He wasn't the main man, but at least he was finding his rhythm again. And just when people started doubting him, Raphinha showed up when it mattered most. He stepped up in the Champions League, played a crucial role in knocking out Napoli, and then put on a masterclass against PSG, scoring twice in Paris. It was the reminder everyone needed. This guy still had that magic. It had been a rocky road, but Raphinha wasn't done yet. And now, under Hansi Flick, something feels different. It's like he's unlocked a new level. You see, Raphinha had survived 2 rollercoaster seasons at Barcelona. Some highs, plenty of lows, and a whole lot of uncertainty, but he still had that goal in his mind to be the best. And then, boom, Xavi leaves. Suddenly the one coach who had fought to keep him in the squad was gone. And you know what that means, right? Transfer rumors everywhere. Barcelona's financial problems weren't exactly a secret, and Raphinha's name was on the list of players who could be sold to bring in some cash. Saudi club Al Hilal even came knocking with a ridiculous €90 million offer. And guess what? Barca's sporting director, Deku. Yes, the same Deku who told Leeds to sign him basically told his agent, yeah, you might want to start looking for another club. Imagine that. But just when it looked like his time at Barcelona was coming to an end, in walked Hansi Flick. And Flick, he had other plans. Instead of selling him off, the new manager made it clear Raphinha was staying. Not just staying, but leading. Flick named him one of the team captains, showing that he saw something in him that others didn't. And with a fresh start under a new coach, Raphinha finally started to shine. Flick tweaked the system, moving him centrally, playing just behind Lewandowski and flanked by wingers. And just like that, Raphinha unlocked a whole new level. First came the statement game, a hat-trick in a 7-0 demolition of Real Valladolid. That was the first sign that something special was brewing. But the real moment, October 23rd, Champions League night at the Camp Nou, against Bayern Munich, the team that crushed his European dreams 2 years earlier. And Raphinha, he destroyed them. Another hat-trick, player of the match. This wasn't just redemption, this was a warning to the football world. And as if that wasn't enough, 3 days later he stepped onto the Santiago Bernabeu pitch for El Clasico and scored his first goal against Real Madrid. Not only that, but he bagged an assist too, leading Barça to a stunning 4-0 away win. But unfortunately that game also highlighted one of the uglier sides of football. During the match, Raphinha, along with teammates Lamine Yamal and Ansu Fati, were subjected to racial abuse from a section of Madrid fans. A disgusting moment that once again reminded the world that there's still so much work to do in football. But Raphinha wasn't about to let anything stop him. He kept delivering, and by January 2025, he was on fire. In the Supercopa de España final against Real Madrid, he went off, scoring twice, assisting another, and picking up yet another Player of the Match award. 10 days later, he did it again in the Champions League against Benfica. Down and out? No. Raphinha led Barcelona to a wild 5-4 comeback win, scoring twice, including an ice-cold injury time winner. At this point, it was clear this wasn't the same Raphinha from last season. He had gone from nearly being pushed out of the club to becoming the guy leading Barcelona into battle, and with performances like these, people started asking a crazy question: could Raphinha be in the Ballon d'Or conversation? But you see, all of this transformation is down to Hansi Flick. Raphinha's resurgence under Flick has been nothing short of remarkable. Not too long ago, many thought his time at Barcelona was coming to an end, but under Flick, he looks like a completely revitalized player, performing at a level few expected. Raphinha was always known as a right winger, excelling in that role at Leeds and initially at Barcelona. However, Lamine Yamal's rise changed everything. Yamal isn't just another promising youngster, he's a generational talent who has cemented his place on the right flank, forcing Raphinha to adapt. Flick's solution: move Raphinha to the left, the same solution that Xavi resulted to. Surprisingly, it's working brilliantly. This positional shift hasn't turned him into a traditional left winger who simply hugs the touchline and swings in crosses. Instead, he's playing as an inverted winger, drifting inside and taking up more central positions. The result? He's linking up with Lewandowski better than ever and finding himself in goal-scoring positions far more frequently than last season. His heat map this season shows a stark change: less involvement in midfield, more time in dangerous attacking zones, and a key role in Flick's quick transition system. His performance in El Clasico was a perfect example of his transformation. At one point, he pinned his defender, dropped deep to receive the ball, and flicked a perfectly weighted pass to Pedri inside the box. It was a moment of brilliance reminiscent of Barcelona's greats, showcasing his newfound confidence and ability in his new role. Another aspect of Raphinha's evolution is his growing partnership with Lewandowski. It's not just about providing assistance, it's about movement and space creation. When Lewandowski drops deep, Raphinha makes sharp inside runs into the vacated space, becoming a major goal threat. Against Real Valladolid, he showcased this perfectly. Kubasi played a long ball forward, and instead of staying wide, Raphinha made a diagonal run across the pitch to receive the pass centrally and score. It's a tactical shift that has unlocked a new dimension in his game. His impact in the Champions League has been just as significant. Against Borussia Dortmund, he exploited their high defensive line with a perfectly timed run, breaking their offside trap and finishing like a seasoned striker. These plays demonstrate how he's gone from being a creative winger to a genuine attacking force. What makes Raphinha even more valuable is his defensive work rate. Unlike some wingers who disappear when they don't have the ball, he's relentless off the ball. Against Atletico Madrid, he was leading the press alongside Fermin, forcing errors from the opposition. In Barcelona's clash with Valencia, he was one of the few players sprinting back to stop a dangerous counter-attack. That level of commitment is something every coach loves. So is this the best version of Raphinha we've ever seen? It just might be. He's not only adapting, he's evolving. Flick has turned him into a more complete forward, and if he keeps this up, Barcelona might have found an unexpected superstar within their squad. Who would have thought that moving Raphinha to the left could unlock his full potential? Flick did, and now we're all witnessing something special. Which brings us to this: can Raphinha win the Ballon d'Or this season if Barcelona wins both the league and the Champions League? Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.